Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome tonight to the first race in One Hub of this evening. It's round 8 for the Australian Grand Prix here in One Hub. 3 rounds left to go, and well, we have a cracker on tonight at the Australian Grand Prix. I'm wondering if we have a new session. That's the first thing that I want to get out because Gazaman has left the session and we have a rather low number than what we had earlier. My name is Sam and I will be your commentator tonight, and I am joined alongside with Daniel, otherwise known as V8 Field.
Good evening everyone, and good evening Sam. I cannot wait to be alongside you for this commentary tonight. Of course, the Australian Grand Prix, and we could see the first ever prospect drivers champion in Gus tonight. The permutations, of course, if Gus finishes outside the top 8, then Aaron has to win. But if Gus gets in the top 10, Gus wins in the top 8, Gus wins automatically. So he hasn't got too much pressure on him tonight, has he?
Oh no, he hasn't. The permutations, just like you said, make it almost but obvious for Gus if you definitely look at his season so far. Every race he's picked up a podium, but he could have won this championship last week in Canada. Controversially though, he did slow down for Nicky, who gave Nicky his first race in One Hub Racing. We said that's a brilliant gesture right there, but also it's really good for us because if Gus does end up retiring from this race or something happens to him and Aaron JS perhaps, well, he has to win this race to stay in the championship, do you reckon we could really be seeing Gus shooting himself in the foot here?
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. Of course, it's not too difficult for Gus to be on the podium. He's done it in pretty much every race this season, but Nicky was called to the driver's press conference, and the question asked was, congrats on the win. How did that champagne taste on the top step? He said, it feels great to be first place, even though it took a long time. Hopefully I can win a race again in one. League is very competitive, so it's great to see him finally take his win, and I'm pretty sure he's elated with that performance.
Yeah, and obviously we saw last time how Aaron JS, the main championship rival and the only championship rival now to Gus, he was not here last week, which was very unfortunate because if he was here and perhaps say he won that race and Gus didn't win, well, if Gus weren't ahead of him, we could have seen a little bit more easier permutations. However, though, we've got round 8 here, and we don't really see a champion crowd in Australia. I mean, you'd usually see it probably back in 1996 with that famous incident between Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill, I think it was, which crowned Damon Hill the champion that year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I am terrible with my history. However, we do know that Australia has been one of the last tracks of the calendar years ago. However, it's known nowadays as the first track on the calendar, and I think this is a track that drivers do tend to get familiar with, especially at the start of the game. But now we are getting to the stage where we've been in the game for a long time. Do you reckon some drivers may be feeling a little bit rusty, maybe not practicing for the Australian Grand Prix, or maybe not really noticing the track as much? Or do you reckon it's probably a little different?
Yeah, well, normally in a league race, Australia's going to be at the beginning of the season if it's on the calendar. So it's a bit unusual for these guys to be having it so late in the calendar year, of course. So it might catch a couple of them off guard, but unlike crazy to see how far this league has come. But of course, it was actually won by a still active driver. I still can't say his name. I believe his name is Chris, though. But he's got a crazy PSN name, which I'm not even going to try to attempt to read out. But yeah. Congratulations to One Hub for getting this far.
Yeah, very big congratulations. 16 seasons and 16 great seasons. Obviously, previous winners, we've had quite a few of them, and that does include our admin for the prospect here, Gaza, who has won here before. The most successful driver here is between Beastas and Ermi. Obviously, they've all had their reigns in One Hub, but there's quite a few names as well there, like the likes of Blizzard as well, who have won here, Wayne as well. So, some really big names again, same as last week with Canada, winning in Australia. So, you get some sort of gratitude from it, but we've got 29 laps, 16 corners, 3 DRS zones to decide who is going to be winning this race, and we do have a new lobby, and Gazaman's already set it up. And of course, we had the mandatory 2-stop. Interestingly, this is, I believe, a low deg track, Australia. So what do you reckon the strategies are going to be tonight?
I reckon that we're probably going to see a soft medium medium or a soft medium soft. I don't think that we're going to see the hard tyre at all tonight. You'd normally do soft to hard if it was a one stop, but of course in one hub we have the mandatory 2-stop rule implemented for this season, so that pretty much throws the hard tyres out the window unless you see some safety cars or virtual safety cars. That really does throw some spanners in the work, but I would definitely say soft medium medium or soft medium soft for this race.
Well, we talk about this driver every week. Is he here tonight? Not at the moment, and that is Cloudy Balloons. Now, we know Cloudy very, very well at this point, and, well, he's had a bit of a doom of a season. In some sense, it's a question, but also he's had an alright season. But, I believe he's actually left. Never mind. He's left. Never mind about that one, but Cloudy Balloons, so he had an interesting season this season. He's not going to be here tonight because he's no longer competing. That was, unless he's changed his name.
He does like doing that.
Yeah,
I'm just going to check now.
I've bottled that. I think he's changed his name. Has he changed his name? Is Cloudy Balloons this Cork VLR guy? I've not seen him before.
It's taken a minute to load. Hang on, I'll get back to you on that one.
Well, if it is Cloudy, then obviously he'll be looking for some results tonight. I'm thinking it's Cloudy because he's got 33 points. It says he has a podium, so he's had a podium this season. I believe Cloudy has had a podium somewhere this season, but interestingly, I believe that's Cloudy, but I'm not 100% sure. But he'd be wanting to go a little bit further. He has shown pace this season, and definitely he has shown good pace. In Monaco, I believe he got pole position, in fact. So, if that is, I'm gonna keep saying this, if that is Cloudy, then he'll be looking just to go that one step further and win tonight. And if he does win tonight, do you reckon his confidence is going to go through the roof for the final 2 races?
Yeah, I definitely think that he has had the pace, but he's just had too many incidents really to count this season. So definitely if he can get a good performance, we might see him on top later on in the season. Of course, we don't have many races left, but hopefully he can get a good result because he really has quite had a nightmarish season. I'm not going to put it lightly. He's really not had a good time with it, so hopefully he can get a good result.
Yeah, and we were talking about Nicky as well earlier. He doesn't seem to be here tonight at the moment. And Cloudy is Quark, that's what I can say, but yeah, he's changed his name 1,000 times, so good spot there. But Nicky's not here tonight at the moment. I'm hoping he does join, unless he already has and I've missed it. Nope, he's not in so far, but Nicky obviously last week won the race. You said his post-race press conference already and everything, but if he doesn't show up tonight, I mean, it's kind of sad because you'd want to see Nicky defend his win from last week by putting another stellar performance. And I mean, Nicky right now not here. If he does show up, do you reckon he could replicate his performance in Canada, or do you reckon perhaps it was a one-time thing?
Well, I would like to think that he would, and maybe actually fight Gus harder than he did. Of course, it really was so unfortunate. He disconnected, and that basically lost him the position. I would have really liked to have seen a battle for the lead, but of course, again, really great sportsmanship from Gus, allowing to let him pass. But hopefully, if we do see Nicky in this race, we will see his pace like he's shown last week, and also in France. He had a really good fight with Gus for a long time. I believe he got second in that Grand Prix. So hopefully Nicky, who's definitely shown the pace, can actually get on top today again.
Well, yeah, and we have had the Drivers' Championship pretty much sorted out for a little while now. It's not completely sorted, but Gus looks pretty sure to win that championship though now, unless obviously he ends up either leaving the league or I guess crashing out every time and Aaron winning. Aaron has to win every single race to even sniff out the championship, if that makes sense. However, looking at the constructors, we haven't talked much about the constructors, and we've got time to. Alfa Romeo right now are 36 points clear on 174 points to Mercedes 138. Interestingly, the Alfa Romeo duo it's been very gappish, hasn't it? A Salty Bear only 9 points, Gus has 165. As for Mercedes, on the other hand, Aaron has 90 points and Jamie has 48. And also, if we do look at the hot and cold bit here, it says Jamie is hot right now. So, interestingly, taking that information, obviously that means he's on form. That doesn't mean the other type of hot. Or although who knows, but I mean, those two have been competing this season, Aaron and Jamie. We've seen them on the track together a few times. Do you think perhaps they could potentially take the constructors off Alfa Romeo and maybe distract Gus a little bit from the Drivers' Championship glories by taking the Constructors' Championship?
Well, maybe they can be in the fight for that if they just work well together, which I'm sure they can. They've both provided some good performances as a team earlier on in the season. Because the Salty Bear, he's got pace, but he hasn't really been there to do it. He's made a lot of pit stops in the race, probably just getting damaged a lot as well. So it's been quite an unlucky season. He did come in a little bit late, so we'll take that into consideration when actually tallying up his points. But I do think that Mercedes can definitely get closer to Alfa Romeo. I'm not too sure if they're close enough to actually snatch it off of them, but it can definitely be a little bit of a wake-up call for a Salty Bear to really put in a shift and help Alfa Romeo secure that World Constructors' Championship.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you something now. The battle in the midfield is intense. I would say from 6th downwards, there's a gap of around 6th to 13th, there's a gap of around 18, I believe. Around that. Under 20, definitely. And, well, it's 17, in fact. But, interestingly, a second place can change all of it for one driver. And I'll tell you something now. The drivers involved are all capable of podiums here. Astronauty has got a podium. Cork or Cloudy has got a podium as well. Broomer, he has got a pole position, hasn't he, so far? And he's been very quick. Very disfortunate, though, however. Apex Rogue, we haven't seen much of him. However, he has been showing glimpses of pace. Alex Lilia has been a bit inconsistent, let's just say, but he has been up there and has been able to pick up the scraps when it's needed. Zach Jarvis has been up there again, similar to Alex Lilia, but hasn't exactly been showing great pace, and similar to those two as well. And Gaza as well. Gaza's always been that sort of driver each season in One Hub, where he's had a pretty midfieldy sort of season, if that makes sense, but he does tend to put in a banging performance at one race. Do you think this is the race where he will put in that banging performance, or do you think that perhaps we're going to wait a little longer, or we're not going to see it at all?
Well, if I'm not being deceived at the moment, I just need to find it that Gazman actually has a win around Australia, and no active driver, sorry, has actually won Australian Grand Prix twice. And yeah, I am correct in this. Gazman has won here before, so it definitely could be a good track for him, and we could see him up the field. But he has really not had the best of seasons, so to say. But he has got some pace to do it, and I think he can actually get it tonight.
Yeah, and we still just need the TAS. I'll get that up now. We're just waiting for the data. We're still waiting to start here at the moment. It's taken us a real long time, so we do apologise for that. However, that gives us opportunity to explore all this in so much detail. We've got the team press conferences here. Racing Point and AlphaTauri were brought up, and are the black Mercedes just better than the pink one? Well, Racing Point just replied, no, they are not. So basically just defending themselves, Racing Point, saying, no, we are better. There's no question about it. Looking at this tier, to be honest with you, they are relatively close in terms of points. It's not too bad. There's around 60 points difference between them, 64 to be exact points between them. And obviously in Formula 1, if you get a 1-2, that's 43 points. So obviously they can close the gap with a really good performance. So perhaps we could be seeing the two Racing Points put in a grand performance of Enns and, well, what was Liam, but I don't think he's here anymore, and Wide Load Billy, who came into this tier, hasn't scored a single point, but let's not forget Liam, who was here beforehand, who picked up a mighty amount of points for Racing Point, hence why they're there. But who knows, this Racing Point lineup could do well. And also Ferrari could do well as well, with 90 points there. They are 48 points behind Mercedes, so similar to Racing Point, a really good race here, outperforming the Mercedes by quite a bit. And, well, they have Astronauty and Nikki here, so those two will be on fire right now to get going. So hopefully we could see a battle for second. If not, the win for the Constructors' Championship, and, well, Ferrari could still play a spanner in the works.
Yeah, I don't know if they can really challenge this late into the season. 84 points back from Alfa Romeo, but the two drivers that they have, Astronauti and Nikki, they're both really talented, the Flying Finn duo. Right now, we are actually having a bit of a delay because Nikki can't get into the session. But hopefully when he actually finally does get into the race, we will get going. It was the same for Storm, but he's managed to get in. And don't let your eyes deceive you, we haven't got a new driver in VRT Lightspeed. That is Storm. He has recently become the manager of the VRT team, so really well done to him, and now he's running that username instead of Storm. But I think we will have a little bit of time to adjust to saying Lightspeed instead of Storm, a bit like how David Croft used to struggle with Racing Point by calling them Force India.
Yeah,
Force of habit.
I mean, I'm sure that James Allen beforehand probably struggled with calling Jordan Midlands F1 and then furthermore Midlands F1 Spiker and then furthermore Spiker Force India. So, you know, that team has gone through many, many names. And, of course, next season we have another one in Aston Martin to remember. And if they do show the same colours, I wouldn't be surprised if people call them Racing Point or perhaps even still Force India. So, who knows what's happened? It looks like we're ready. Did Nicky get into the session? No, he did not. That is a big, big shame. I tell you something now. Quickly, before we start and before we get into it, some questions. What surprised you most in the race? This is from Gus Fring. The disconnection from Nicky. How tricky was it avoiding the Wall of Champions? Quite tricky, especially when you're pushing on the inters. And I'll tell you something now, pushing on the inters is not easy. The grip on those, well, the grip in the wet weather is absolutely horrendous, and especially compared to this game on the dry tyres are much more grippy than last game. On the wets, it's basically the same as last game, and it seems to be a lot more tricky, but psychologically it's more tricky, but actually it's not, if that makes sense. So we'll see the drivers get tested with that possibly tonight. However, the most likely outcome is we do have a dry qualifying and a dry race. But have we got any predictions for the weather, for the podium, or the winner for tonight, Daniel? Or do you have any predictions of anything that we could be seeing tonight?
Oh, well, in terms of the weather, I really can't give you a direct answer because it's not like Bahrain where it's pretty much guaranteed to be dry. Australia can have some wet weather and it can also be bright and sunny. We'll see it as we load into qualifying. But I think pole position, you know what, I'm going to say Bruma. He's been on fire in qualifying. He could take his third pole position this season out of 3 races. So hopefully he can do that. And it looks like clouds in the sky. Have we got? I don't think we have rain, but it is really overcast right now. We could see a dry to wet qualifying.
Oh, that could be interesting. And what if it turns wet immediately? For those who got out first, that would be amazing. Everyone opted for the soft tyres, which gives us obviously the tiniest of hints. However, I talked about it being low deg. I'm pretty sure most people will go for the softer compound anyway. 17 drivers tonight. We should have had 18. However, Nicky was not able to get in, and he disconnected last week. He still got the win because of Gus, and Gus was really nice from him. But I mean, it's unfortunate that happened. But there are clouds in the sky. No one's rushed to get out, so that does assume that there isn't probably going to be any rain anytime soon. However, we have been wrong in the past, and rain could come any minute. But yeah, fully dry, and Gus is the first one out on track, frankly. So the Alfa Romeo driver looking to get an early start off this track, an early feel, and well, hopefully we should have a good qualifying in store and, well, a good race in store, because Gaza is telling us that we have heavy rain for most of the race, Daniel.
Wow, that is going to be quite the test for these drivers. We might see some guys gamble on the wet setup and be further down in qualifying than some guys who might be running a dry setup. Hopefully we don't see too much of that, but all we know right now is that Gus can win the championship here, but being in the wet, in the heavy rain today, it will be a very big test from him, so he's just got to keep his wits about him, make sure he doesn't cut across that chicane like he's just done on his outlap, and all will be okay for him.
Well, yeah, and obviously when some people see rain, they seem to panic a little bit. I wonder if Gus is one of those people. He's just let astronauty through. We have seen Gus, though, in the rain before. He has seemed to deem off fine, but who knows? There's yellow flags in sector 3. That is just because everyone's slowing down to start their lap. The first person on a lap, though, for today is astronauty, so we will go on board with him then. Excuse me, I'm not too sure on the corner names. However, we start this lap then into sector 1, into turn 1 and turn 2. A right-hander to a sweeping left-hander. Make sure not to invalidate. You can invalidate there, of course. DRS open then on the second DRS straight of this track. Down to turn 3. And, well, this is a tricky section in itself. Get on the traction early. Turn 4. Go as wide as you possibly can. Don't invalidate. Turn 5 it is then. And again, you can go as wide as possible. Just don't invalidate on it. Turn 6 and turn 7 can be very tricky. Seems to have lighted up well here, astronauty. And through turn 8 as well. Down to turn 9 and then turn 10. You get a lot of these corner combinations. Again, you could probably hook that a little better there for the Ferrari driver. Then now onto another straight, a little sweeping left-hander, very long, flat out. These corners almost flat out for this chicane here. DRS open onto the third and final DRS straight off the track before we reach the start-finish. Down to sector 3 then. This is very tricky through here. The trickiest part of the circuit into the final 3 corners of turn 14. Now down to turn 15, braking nice and early into the corner, getting a good exit as well. Out of the final corner then, turn 16. Is he going to go as wide as he possibly could? He's hit the apex, so he's done alright. And Astronaut, he comes across the line. It's a 1:20.6, which is a good start for him. Gus already beats it with a 20.3, but we obviously have only had 2 cars finish across the line.
Yeah, now we've got some more drivers crossing the start-finish line and finishing up on their runs. Oh, I've just seen Enz make a pretty big mistake there on his lap, a big lock up into the penultimate corner, but he's going to come around the final corner. We've not seen anyone beat Gus at the moment on his 20.3. What about Enz? Yeah, 24.5. That mistake really did throw his lap in the bin. But as we are seeing all these guys finishing up on their laps, it looks like Gus already becoming the commanding driver in this qualifying session, almost 3/10 clear of anyone else in the session, so that is quite something from him. So good performance from Gus so far.
Yeah, and his teammate, a Salty Bear, coming through the last few corners then, looking pretty decent on his lap there. A little bit of a lock up though through turn 14, goes as wide as he possibly can. And what time is it going to be? He's going to be close to his teammate. He's the third driver into the 1:20s alongside Astronaut and his teammate. Seems like the Alfa Romeo seems to be on point. We have not seen Jamie or Aaron JS set a lap yet. Speaking about one of the Mercedes, where is he on the track? He is going through sector 2 right now. Who have we got later on their lap? Not Alex Lillard is, but not as late as we would want it. Everyone is coming on in lap though, so we are going to just stick on board with Alex Lillard. Let's see what lap he can do as he comes through sector 3 now. No more DRS DRS closing points, so we'll have an entry point out the final corner. Let's go through here. How's he doing? Reaching the apex, doing pretty good. Braking early, going a little bit wide, going very wide there. And he needs to be careful hitting that inside apex. Goes good out the final corner though, but that's compromised him a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if this lap is a 23 or 24. It's a 23.6, but he lost definitely a lot of time in those last 2 corners.
Yeah, well, Jamie Metz just finished the lap, and according to TAS, he actually broke his wing just a little bit. He went to 12% damage, and he still managed to go P7, so it's definitely pace in that Mercedes. But one of the championship contenders, the only other championship contender other than Gus, Aaron JS, has just begun on his lap. He's coming through the first sector at the moment, up towards turn 5 at the moment. Easy place to go off the circuit, but he seems to have done it nice there. And there's actually a car going a little bit slow up ahead of him. That is Alex Lilliard. Hopefully he doesn't get in his way. He might just put him off a slight bit there, but he has now got out of his way, and it's Jamie Met just waiting to the side of the road, not going to cause any issues for his teammates. So now coming to the second sector split right now. He's looking pretty decent on this lap so far. His sector time was not purple, it was a 26.5. What about through the middle sector? Not purple through there either, so not looking like he's going to set the time screens alight, but he's doing a nice job at the moment, just trying to keep it consistent on the track. He's definitely going to be at the sharp end of the field, and just coming through the third sector now. I think this could be a pretty decent lap.
Yeah, looking like it. 3 more corners to go. Now the final 2 corners, turn 15 and turn 16. Oh, he's done the same as what Alex did there. He's gone very wide through that corner, misjudged it. Out the final corner goes Aaron JS. What time is it going to be? I tell you something now, that's compromised him of around half a second. So we're looking for the 20s for Aaron, but right now it really has, there's quite a spread in times, isn't there, Daniel? And you said about dry and wet setups, maybe you are right. There are a lot of drivers perhaps thinking about the wet setup because they know that there is a wet weather on its way to in the race.
Yeah, we definitely could see some of these guys a little bit lower down due to their setups being a little bit different. There's some guys I wouldn't expect to be this low, like Aaron and Jamie Met. Of course, Aaron did have a big mistake, but definitely Alex Lilliard as well, being 3.3 seconds off. That's not what you really see from Alex. He's been pretty quick this season, despite him not really having the results. He's definitely had the pace. He's just not really been in the right place at the right time. So I definitely think we are going to see some wet setups going on. If you're just wondering how we're monitoring all the purple sectors and the exact sector times, it is the TAS, which is developed by IGKNs. It's called the Telemetry Analysis System. It's a brilliant system that we use, and it's developed by him to see all of our telemetry. So if you want to know more about that, just head over to the OneHub YouTube channel. We do have a video on that, and also you can message him on Twitter. It's the same as his PSN name, and then you can ask about it yourself. So make sure you check him out.
Yeah, and look at Cork. I now need to get used to this new name for him. He's coming through the corners right now, and he's doing brilliantly at the moment. Didn't go purple though through sector 1. Did go green though. He was very, very quick through there. He's gone green again in sector 2. Oh, he's invalidated. Never mind. And he knew it was a good lap. He's weaving there a little bit. What about Bruma? He's gone green in his sector as well, so he is up a little bit. However, Astronaut, he is higher up on his lap. He's now coming through to Sector 3 and now in Sector 3. So let's just see what Astronaut he can do on this lap. A few more corners to go. Turn 14. He's got a little bit of traffic in Truth ahead. Hopefully Truth does get out of the way or comes into the pits. Takes that perfectly. I mean, didn't take the exit well though. A very big amount of oversteer, or wheel spin really. However, let's see how Bruma does it into the final 2 corners there. Good entry, good exit. Oh, a little bit slidey through there, pushing the car to its limits, but he keeps it on the track. And it looks like Bruma's going to be finishing this lap, and well, that compromised him a little bit. But he's into the 1-minute 20s, but it could have definitely been more for the McLaren.
Yeah, it seems like at the moment the only driver really able to challenge Gus at this point in time is Astronauti, and he's almost 3/10 off of Gus, so he seems to be in a class of his own like we've seen a lot this season, but got 3rd place, 6/10 off. Then Bruma, not too far off of a Salty Bear actually, so we could see some better things, but 5th place is a 2nd off, so Gus really is in a league of his own at the moment. He must have been practicing hard for this one.
Yeah, and I'm sure he would have, because obviously this is a crowding race for Gus potentially, and it's the same as last race. But you know, he respects the drivers, which is good to see. A lot of champions, you know what they say and everything. If you want to be a champion, you have to be mean, you have to be spiteful and everything. He wasn't like that, Gus. Gus was pretty nice. He gave Nicky the win, and well, Nicky deserved it overall in the end. He was doing brilliantly in his race, but very unfortunate. But we do bring it to the next round, and it looks like Gus is on point to win the championship. However, we do know this is only a Saturday. This is only qualifying. Sunday is a whole different thing, and we do have heavy rain on the way. And these really, I wouldn't say poor times because that'd be rude, but these really high times compared to Gus, maybe just down to the different setups, and perhaps some are running one more equipped for the rain, while Gus is probably running one more for the dry. So we could be seeing very interesting race results tonight.
Yeah, of course, time will tell. Gus could just be on a wet setup and he's just rapid with it, but we won't be able to tell until we actually get to the race itself. Jamie just crossed the line, went almost a second up, but he didn't improve on his position at all. He's 1,000th off of Gazman. That is quite...
Oh, I don't know what's happened to Daniel. He's died there for a second.
Hello?
Oh, you're back. Yes. You kind of just died mid-sentence. I don't know what you were saying. You could say that again or something.
Sorry, my headset came unplugged there. That was not good.
Interesting. Anyway, we just seen Storm cross the line. Interesting. I said Storm. Here we go. You said it, didn't you, about the racing point, the Force India thing? We're doing it, aren't we? Like, again, it's Lightspeed, not Storm. So that's my vote. Oh, and Billy goes off the track there. So, yeah, we're just sort of like... I was just about to say Storm again. We saw Lightspeed come across the line. He has set a 23.6. Billy has set a 22.6. There is definitely more time in that one. He came out onto the grass in the final corner, so more time to be got from that one. But Lightspeed set a 23.6. He is learning no traction, and this is a race where he's got no traction on, I believe. So, interestingly for him, this could be a really interesting one. Of course, we have rain in the race, and I'll tell you something now, no traction and rain, especially when learning no traction, it can be a very difficult one to get through.
Yeah, I speak from experience. It wasn't long ago that I didn't have the traction control on. I was really struggling with it. I've just seen, actually, Cloudy Balloons has gone off the circuit and he's right behind Lightspeed. I think he's annoyed with him because he blocked him, but that can't be the fault of Lightspeed there. Because, and he's just given damage to Truth, I think. Or one of the Renault cars, that's Majestic. He's completely chopped across either damage to the Red Bull car or damage to Majestic. So, not what you really want to see, especially if someone's just coming out of the pits on their outlap. So, hopefully we see better standards than that later on in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and well, Alex Lilliat comes across the line. He's improved by a second, so times are dramatically going down. And obviously the track does warm up throughout the session, so we could be seeing that. Indecisive is up on his time by 4 attempts. He's currently on a 25.1, so I'm assuming that he had a really bad run on the last time out. He locks up a little bit through the second to last corner. The final corner then. What's he going to get? Let's see what Indecisive can do. He's going to come across the line. It's a 24.1. Stays in the same place, but it's an improvement of around a second, so... really good job from another commentator's curse. A really good job from Indecisive, and he bins it in the wall. Thank you so much. Anyway, maybe I should just stop talking. Maybe that's the key to success in this tier at this point. Is I stop talking about the driver. But Gazman on an outlap. He's going very slow through here. I'm guessing he's just keeping his tyres cool at the moment, but he does rev up now and he is on his way to his flying lap. Let's see how this one goes. Into the first 2 corners then. Let's see how he does this one. This is going to be very satisfying if you do it right. He's done it near enough perfect, which is really good to see. Into turn 3 and turn 4 now. Again, very tricky. There seems to be sort of like a pattern around this track. He seems to be very quick sort of sweeping corners, and well, you see that in turn 1 and 2, there's turn 8 and 9, there's obviously the chicane as well, just before the third DRS, if you want to call it a chicane, and obviously this corner here that's just happened as well. So Gazaman really quick through here at the moment. Is he setting the world alight? Well, he's setting the world alight in terms of his times, but he's not setting the world alight in terms of everyone else's times at the moment. Gus has pretty much dominated this session from the start. What's new? However, there is definitely some other things probably on the way. Gazaman up on his time as well, so Really good for the Red Bull. Into sector 3 we go now. He does have a little bit of traffic ahead. Shouldn't be an issue. That would be either Stevie Hart, who's finishing his lap. Well, it would be Stevie Hart because the other Alpha Tauri is not here. Did I say Alfa Romeo by any chance?
You didn't. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I'm getting very mixed up, but Gazaman does improve his time and he comes near his teammate. Oh my goodness, what on earth has happened there? Jamie's come out and there's been a Ferrari of Astronauty near. And they both just come out. Don't know what on earth just happened there. Astronauty is ahead though, so Astronauty is ahead of Jamie Met. Interestingly. So Astronauty in second right now, out lap. Is there anyone on a lap? Yes, there is. Enz is on a lap right now, down in 14th. He's got a little bit of traffic to navigate. He's actually right behind Astronauty. Astronauty letting him go, which is good to see. Enz on his lap. He's looking quite quick at the moment. Currently the lowest of those who are not retired so far. He's got more juice left in the tank, it looks like. As he comes through onto the straight now. No DRS just here, of course, but the DRS activation zone, which won't be important in the race. I was just about to say it was, but rumour has it it's going to be heavy rain in the race. However, DRS is open. The wing does open on the back. And now coming through sector 3 then. A few more corners to go. Turn 13. Now turn 14. Taps the grass a little bit. Doesn't want to do that. Get your tyres dirty. Turn 15 and turn 16. Very tight through here. Very easy to understeer. Oh, Gazaman very awkwardly on the track. I don't know what on earth Gazaman's doing there. Very awkwardly on the track. Enz comes across the line. What's it going to be? It's a 22-7. But it's been a common theme, hasn't it, really, in this qualifying session? We've seen a lot of blips from drivers. And, well, this one obviously wasn't Enz's fault. But I don't know what on earth happened to Gaza. Did he spin or did he just lose the car somehow?
Well, he must have just lost it out of the corner, out of the really slow hairpinish type corner, and it was just an awkward place to come back onto the circuit. Unfortunate for Enz, probably did put him off a little bit, but we can't really talk too much about incidences because we've got some more drivers finishing up their runs. One of those is Truth NLP, and he's invalidated on that one. I believe that means Quark is coming up next. We actually got a couple of drivers in the final sector, but I think we should stick with Quark, of course, formerly Cloudy Balloons. He's not had a good season so far, and now coming through the last couple of corners, he's hoping he can find himself in the top 3. I would expect as now coming up to the line. What can he do here? As now he does improve, but not by enough, and Aaron JS is next. Of course, one driver in contention for the championship. What's he going to do? He was only 10th up through a second sector. He does enough to get ahead of Astronauty, but it is not enough to trump Gus.
Yeah, speaking about Gus, I just looked on his lap, and he had a little bit of a slide. He is pushing for that fastest lap. Sector 3, he didn't improve through Sector 2, but he is sure to be wanting to improve. Into the last 2 corners then. How is he going to take this? Very inside, a little understeery, and well, he's given up on his lap, so the spectacular didn't happen. Where is Jamie Met? He's just come across the line and finished. Well, Daniel. Look who's at the top again. It is Gus, but I tell you who's in second. It's his championship rival, Aaron JS. A good start and maybe a little bit of an incident on turn 1. We could be seeing 2012 sort of stuff here.
Yeah, it really is going to be quite the drive from Aaron if he can actually claw his way back in the championship. It does seem unlikely, but Gus on pole with his banker time, no less as well. That was the first lap that he put, and the only lap that he really needed to put in, because that was good enough for pole, which was waiting for the Alfa Romeo car of a Salty Bear to retire in the pits. I don't know if he has to do that manually, or if it's just going to automatically put us, but if he doesn't end up retiring, we're going to have to wait for an extra minute, so then we can get into the good stuff of the race, and there it is. Now qualifying is over.
Yep, and we have we have a familiar top 2, and it's top 2 in the championship, so this could be a really interesting one. How much does Aaron want to stay in this championship? How much does Gus want to win it? And how much does Astronauty, Bruma, or a Salty Bear, or perhaps even Quark themselves, how much do they want to win a race this season? Well, we'll find out in a couple of minutes' time, where we'll be away for the Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm excited for this. A lot of people do give flack to the Albert Park Street circuit, of course. But I actually do really like this track, and I think it is a bit of an underrated one and can produce some good racing. So hopefully we can see some of that today. Of course, in the heavy and wet conditions, it is going to be a challenge for these guys. I don't believe we've seen full wet tyres in a long time. Last time I can think of was Zandvoort, but we've seen a lot of wet qualifying sessions as well here, so I wouldn't put it past that we've seen it pretty recently. And there it is. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
It's a monsoon.
Well, we talked about the conditions, obviously, in the Nürburgring Grand Prix earlier. Well, that wasn't the conditions somewhat that destroyed FP1 and FP2. Hopefully tomorrow we get some running. I was really annoyed that we didn't get any running today. However, we've got heavy rain here, and, well, it kind of fits the conditions in the UK. This isn't the UK, it's Australia, but heavy rain. This could be a really, really interesting one for the drivers. Are we enough in for full wets, or are we just about there for inters? That is the question.
Oh, we're going to have to see. I believe looking in that Mercedes garage, it looks like wet tyres, and just judging by the amount that is coming down, I would expect them to be on the blue tyres, of course, deeper treading to provide more grip. You want them to be a little bit colder so as to not overheat them, but look at that. You can practically see your reflection in that track surface, and it is indeed the wet tyres on for Gus. What about everyone else? I'm just trying to see. Yeah, they're all on the wets.
Yep, everyone running the wets then, and it does look very treacherous out there. I'll tell you something like that. Like, look at the track. There's puddles everywhere. Aquaplaning is going to be a huge problem. As we've seen just in the background there, we got a quick glimpse of it already. Astronauty has had that happen to him. He's almost spun the car. Frankly, he didn't. Interestingly for Aaron JS, he's very close to Gus right now, and perhaps that's what he's hinting at in the race, but well, this could be a very, very interesting one today. And, well, with the wet conditions, we're hoping it's not your typical F1 2020 race condition race where one person's runs away with it. We want to see mistakes. We want to see surprises. We want to see things happen and things go the right way and the wrong way. We want to just see mistakes, and we want to have a really entertaining and fun race.
Well, hopefully one thing that can provide entertainment is the man starting in 18th position. He didn't get to join for qualifying, but it is Nicky. He's finally got into the session. What have you seen?
No, I was just saying, because I
right. I thought you'd seen. I thought you were saying that someone might have had a crash or something or spun off, but yeah, Nicky really can put in a performance, building on that momentum from the win last week. Could definitely see him cause some mayhem, not the kind, but he can definitely ruffle some feathers and try and find his way into the top 10 and secure points in the championship.
Well, yeah, and quickly before we get underway, Daniel, One Hub Racing is of course sponsored by Next Level Racing and Liam 1-3. If you want to know more information about Next Level Racing, you just go on to One Hub's website and you go to their About bit and Next Level Racing. And Liam 1-3, he provides the trophies for One Hub this season and helps investing money into that. However, obviously Next Level Racing gets the Going Gets Tough award, which you can win by basically doing every interview, racing every race, and be outside the top 3. So really, really good prizes up for stake, and One Hub does care a lot about its community, which is what we love to see. Right, so we are just waiting now. How long is it till the lights get underway? Who's are we still waiting for? I think we're just about to get underway, Daniel. Oh, I don't know what on earth is going on. There we go, there come the lights then. 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix. It's heavy wet conditions and we are underway. Who's got the best start then? It's a poor start from Astronauty. As we've seen, everyone's got a decent start. Broomer up to 3rd place. Down the inside he goes of Astronauty, pushing him off the track. Broomer's gone off the track. Astronauty's gone off the track, and Astronauty's still off the track. He's gone far back, going side by side right now. Cork into 3rd. So Broomer's gone wide, and we've got a virtual safety car. Cork has gone out of nowhere, gone to 3rd. Broomer, we thought was in 3rd, went wide obviously, and maybe had an issue or something. But Gus does remain in first place. He got a good enough start to keep Aaron JS behind. But, well, the big question of the big man of the hour, really, was Astronauty, who got caught up with Bruma and has ended up falling right down the grid to the midfield. And, well, this is going to be an interesting one. How is he going to react to this?
Well, he's probably not going to be too happy now. He's got it all to do in this race, but of course that is just the nature of it. Stuff does happen, so he's just got to keep his wits about him. We did see some drivers having incidents. Like, has Nicky gone off, or is it just a glitch with the timing screen? Oh, enter spun. Oh dear.
Enter spun under virtual safety car there, so it looks like he won't be going anywhere soon. There's a massive gap between, I believe that's Indecisive and everyone else. What on earth are they doing all the way back here? Well, Indecisive, obviously, well, he's got wing damage, Indecisive have, so that's interesting. Moving up further, then Lightspeed going side by side, and he's got past Jamie Met. This is really good. Jamie Met going through Lightspeed then, so obviously there's been some sort of issues there. Has Lightspeed disconnected, or is it desync? I don't know, but however, he's definitely looking to go by Jamie Met. I believe it's desync. I don't actually know.
I've actually just seen in one of the Twitter chats, I'm being told to invite Lightspeed back, so I will just do that. I might go quiet for a minute whilst I do that, but I do apologise to Lightspeed that I didn't see the message earlier, but I will get that invite to him so he can get back in the session.
Oh no, Astronauty in the wall. I'm sorry for cutting you off, obviously, like that. But Astronauty went through the corner, thought he had the traction down, and he just didn't, and well, Astronauty... Oh, he's going to spin again. And, well, he's got to be careful here. But he's doing donuts like he's won a championship. Well, you haven't won the championship, but you've bottled it here. But, yeah, very unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. His teammate, however, very good start from him. He's up to 10th. And, well, Jamie Met has come into the pits. And Jamie Met has fit the Inters here. So, what's your reaction about that? It's too early or right decision?
Well, I just think it is a bit... But he did have to change his wing. He had two separate incidences. On the first lap, he broke his front left wing. That went from 0 to 44. Then he broke it again somehow, and it went from 44 to 76. So he definitely had to get that one fixed. I'm still trying to invite Lightspeed back into the session. It's just not working. I don't know what's up with PSN, so I can't really see too much in the session, so I do apologise for that.
Yeah, well, Nicky's already got up another position, and he's got up another position here. He's gone through down the inside of Alex Lilia, and he's got past him here. So Nicky is on a big mission to reclaim where he's been. Feels like a Salty Bear and Wildlow Billy's had a close one. However, Wildlow Billy's come out on top, and you tell you something now, a Salty Bear could be in trouble from Truth, but we've got another virtual safety car stopping that. But who has had the best start?
Well, let's have a look. It's got to be Nicky, hasn't it? He's up 10 positions.
Well, I think you are right. Nicky up 10 positions. That's incredible. Lightspeed up 5, but remember, he is not actually in the lobby, apparently. So, interested. Cork, though, up to 3rd. Could we be seeing another podium from him, perhaps? And also Gus as well has got out that 2nd mark already. Of course, it don't really matter here because of obvious reasons, no DRS in the rain, but he's got out that 2nd mark and he's looking pretty strong, although he did have perhaps a little bit of a slide because Aaron has come off better there, but Cork is pressurising him, and we're probably looking for some fun race action here. Looking further back, Truth at the moment getting very close to a Salty Bear. No one really pressurising for a move just yet. Very difficult around this Australian circuit, but we are only on lap 3. Things can change. However, Truth at the moment going through that corner, that was probably a warning he's cost himself, but he seems to be falling back from a Salty Bear, and that sort of fight is a little bit over.
Yeah, we're starting to see some gaps form already, and Truth doesn't seem to be as confident as a Salty Bear. That could leave him in the clutches of Nicky, who's quite a little bit off of him, but he can definitely find his way up towards Truth NRP. But they're a bit like a yo-yo at the moment, Truth and a Salty Bear, because Truth once again catches, and now he's beginning to lose out a little bit. ERS plentiful for the Renault car though, so he can definitely keep up with him there. Why though Billy getting a penalty? But Aaron right up behind Gus now, 7/10, which was about second at the VSC, so it must have been a really great restart for the Mercedes man.
Well, yeah, not only that, Brumer has lost a lot of time here out of that corner. He went through turn 2, and similar to Astronaut, he almost spun the car, but this time didn't get wind damage, didn't spin the car, went wide onto the grass, but he is fine. But it's lost him a big chunk of time to Cork ahead, and Cork will move on now to Aaron JS if he can catch up close enough to him. But right now it's a bit of a stalemate of a race at the moment. We should be looking for something here, because Ends going to the outside. I don't know what on earth happened to Stevie Hart. He's going very, very slowly through that corner, and Indecisive may want to have a go, but Ends go around the outside nonetheless. That was brave from the Racing Point driver. Up to 10th he goes. There's a big gap between him and the next driver ahead. However, he'll be very chuffed with that move.
Yeah, it's not a conventional overtaking opportunity to go around the outside there, but he found a way to make it work. And I was saying about a lap ago at this point that Truth was going to lose a little bit, and I think we've just seen Majestic go off or something. Yeah, he's spinning the car around. But anyways, Nicky is right on the rear of Truth at the moment. Supreme pace for the Ferrari car, and Aaron coming into the pits a little bit early. But I guess two-stop race, you got to pit as early as you can. It might be intermediates as well for the Mercedes driver, and it is not. It's another set of wets.
Oh, well, interestingly, that's surprising. I wouldn't have expected him to make a pit stop this early. Interesting strategy, but we'll move forward. Remember, this is a two-stop strategy no matter what. So he's gone off those wets, getting on a new set immediately. What would do him perfectly right now was if there was to be a VSC. Wouldn't help him entirely, but if there was a VSC, there could have been an interesting plot to be played. Now Gus has a lot of free air. It looks like there's some gaps beginning to form. AMS and Stevie Hart have been battling, and well, one of them have maybe battled a little bit too hard and is in the wall, and that is Stevie Hart there. He's not out of the race. I don't think he's got damage, but well, it's compromised 2 or 3 positions, and it's compromised a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah, Stevie Hart just hasn't had a really good season, and it's unlucky for him. He's just got to come back next week if he can't get a good result out of this one. He spun the car just coming off the exit at turn number 3. So yeah, those tyres going to be not at the optimum working temperature after those spins, and that is really playing truthful here. But Aaron right on the back of Lightspeed now, so he could also try and make an overtake, who I believe is now in the session. So that is something nice to see. But maybe Aaron could make a move into this next corner. I believe turn number 12. Don't think he's close enough, and he's not going to go for it. Just going to bide his time, try and get it maybe into the first couple of corners. But Gus really turning up the temperature now with the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Gus really started to turn up the temperature, and we know about these tyres really of the wets, similar to the hards. The longer they go, the better they are. And also the track does dry up though over a couple of laps. Still damp and still wet conditions, of course. However, it does dry up a little bit, since obviously the car's it radiates the ground, doesn't it? So it makes the ground a little bit drier than the line. So you know what the racing line is, because you can visibly see it now, because obviously there's not much puddles like there was at the start of this race. Good for Aaron JS. He doesn't have to be stuck behind traffic. And he's up to 7th place. This could be a good move from Aaron JS.
Well, he's got a Salty Bear just coming up ahead of him, and you might have seen that the Delta went rapidly down, and that's because a Salty Bear just went straight on at turn number 3, and he's really struggling at the moment to actually find traction right now, so he could be a bit of a roadblock for Aaron JS. He's going to go around the outside here. They're going side by the corner, and a Salty Bear just not going to fight it too hard, and Aaron JS moving up another position. He's made a pit stop already, so he doesn't have to come in the later on in this race, but Gus has to make 2 stops. Aaron JS could be in a really good position by the end of it.
Yeah, so Salty Bear had issues. He's got wing damage major on that left side. I was surprised he didn't defend obviously his teammate there, but obviously there's issues with a Salty Bear, go very slow through the corners, and well, this is a battle behind as well. Gazzaman going side by side with Truth. Truth has got the position on Gazza. Will Gazza go back perhaps, I wonder? Who knows? Indecisive's ahead. He's much slower than these two, as it looks like, through those two corners. Truth, though, still sticking behind, but Gaza in the fight as well. Lightspeed dropping to Alex Lilliart, but he is closing again. You know what? He's closing in even further. Let's see if he can make a move on the Hash driver. To the inside, is he going to go? No, he's not. He's just going to back out of it for now. Go again next time, and here we go. He's looking very strong for the final few corners. Turn 14. Alex Lilliart goes very wide there, just about keeping it on the road. And look at this, it's just no room to the inside. Defends well, Alex Lilliart. Very difficult to overtake, but the slipstream is here. And I tell you something now, the slipstream can play a treat here. Alex Lilliart, though, he has the ERS. The Lightspeed does not. Well, he has the ERS, but he wasn't able to use it at the end of this lap. And Alex Lilliart just stays ahead at the moment. Goes a little bit wide again. Lightspeed really needs to impact upon this. I think Alex Lilliart has got a setup that does have the straight line speed, while Lightspeed does not. And, well, that doesn't really link into his name. When you think of Lightspeed, you think of really, really quick. And I tell you something now, Alex Lilliart should deserve to have the name Lightspeed, but also have the no downforce factor, really, because he hasn't got any.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if Lightspeed has managed to get back into the session. I'm watching the way that he's driving at the moment. Oh, we've got a car up ahead of him. That's Indecisive, who's gone off at the moment. And now here comes the AI car, or it might be the real car, of Lightspeed. He tried to make a move, but Alex Lilliart and Lightspeed both swooped by Indecisive. And yeah, Lightspeed's not in the session. I've just gone on board with Indecisive and Nicky.
Oh, he's made a move. He is on a charge. Nicky is up to 4th place now. Gets past wide load Billy. Is Billy going to make any sort of impact whatsoever? He's just dropping time to him. So we've just found entertainment out of an AI car. Congratulations. Thank you very much. But he's not making any moves whatsoever. Wide load Billy is dropping back to Nicky. Nicky on fire right now. He isn't going to make any sort of move, however. How close are we seeing Gazaman then? He's less than a second off Truth at the moment. There's a massive gap between Truth and Gaza. How many stops have people made? Jamie has made both. So he is actually 2 pit stops ahead of the leaders. He could be one to watch. However, he's 1 minute and 26 seconds behind. So disappointingly, it could have been good. And, well, it doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, he's actually going to come into the pits again now for the 3rd time this race, so I'm not too sure what's happening there. Indecisive and Lightspeed both came out of the pits, and they're on the intermediates, and I think that's what it's for. I think it now is time. They found the dry line, and they're going to try and make the intermediate tyres work to go as long as possible, but both of these drivers not really doing too well at the moment, or Indecisive going off the circuit just a little bit there, so they are struggling at the moment with the intermediate tyres. Gus and Quark both coming into the pit. I've just seen Quark go right through a McLaren mechanic, so hopefully he's all right there. But yeah, all of them on the intermediate tyres, and they should be going for as long as possible until they have to make their second stop.
Well, this is a spanner in the works potentially for Aaron GS. Where is he coming out then? He's come out behind Cork and Gus. So he's come out miles behind those two. So the strategy just hasn't worked. So Aaron JS now in 5th, Cork in 4th and Gus in 3rd. But, well, once Billy and Nicky pit, then Gus is going to be leading the race then, and Cork in 2nd. So this has worked out horrendously for Aaron JS, or Aaron JS has had an issue.
Yeah, well, at least the benefit for Aaron JS is that... Oh, wait, no, they've all made 1 stop already, so there's not even the advantage in that regard. So yeah, it's really been thrown out the window for him. So unfortunate. But if the race were to finish like this, it would have been a last to first challenge from Nicky, and he would have succeeded up 17 positions off the start. Of course, granted, he does have to make a pit stop, but when he comes out, he's going to be in about maybe 5th or 6th position. So you really do have to give it to Nicky. He's done superbly so far today, and I'm messing up my words just in my amazement of Nicky. That's what it is. I'll use that excuse.
Yeah, well, he is definitely doing superbly, isn't he? But right now, he's going to be under pressure from Gus at the moment, who's closing significantly on Billy. This is where we've got the changing conditions then. It looks like there is now time for inters. I say that, well, Nicky has decided to say, no, it's not time for inters. Sets the fastest lap of the race. Gus doesn't beat it because obviously he pitted this lap. So this will be interesting to see. Let's see what will happen now. But people on the wets are now starting to go on to the inters. I wonder if this may be the same for Enz. No, it's not. So Enz will move up to 5th. Maybe a dog ahead of the two guys, Aaron and Billy. Aaron has gone on to the intermediates. Is that too late, though?
I just think it's so unfortunate for Aaron. He really could have fitted last lap, but he might have had his teammate in the way there. But I definitely think it is time for Nicky to come in. We got yellow flags just up ahead of the leading car at the moment. It is a Salty Bear, who once again is just not having a good day at the office, like he's shown a lot. And he might have to make another pit stop if he's got damage on that Alfa Romeo. Of course, the wet providing tricky racing conditions, and now Nicky has to traverse past him, and he seems to be struggling to do so. Salty Bear really does have to get out of the way of Nicky because, of course, he's a lap down to the race leader, but they don't seem to be following the blue flags. I think it's because Salty Bear wants to get back by Indecisive, but realistically, they do both have to pull off to the side.
Yeah, and look, past 1, and then are we going to get past 2? Well, we'll have to wait till the straight, and Indecisive surely will be passed here by Nicky. Nicky staying out another lap. Interestingly, he still is yet to make a stop. Aaron JS has no more stops yet left to make. He's 39 seconds behind, so that is surely 2 pit stops, isn't it?
Yeah, well, whilst Nicky might feel confident on these tyres, he's losing a lot of time to Gus and Quark behind, so realistically it is time for him to come to the pits, but he just seems to be refusing to do so. Hopefully he does come in soon, and he's got a Salty Bear just sitting inside of the car. I have no clue what a Salty Bear is actually doing here. He really should just let him back through, because he's not even fighting Indecisive anymore. Indecisive has fallen way back, so realistically a Salty Bear might just be trying to put Nicky off here and benefit his teammate.
Either that, or he just wants a little bit of challenge. You just want to see what his pace is to the leader's pace, and well, it's working. But I tell you something now, this is a big distraction. I hate it when you've got a car like this just in front of you. You've got to get by him. In these conditions, it's really, really frustrating. But, oh, and the Salty Bear almost putting it in the wall. But tell you something now, Gus is catching up quite significantly to Nicky. And, well, Cork is not really closing on Gus, but he's not losing time. So Nicky is going to fall behind these two. In terms of Bruma, well, it could be an interesting one, couldn't it?
Yeah, Bruma has got some pace on that McLaren car. He's actually got the fastest lap of the race, so he could come in later on in the Grand Prix, and finally Nicky comes into the pit lane. That will put Gus, the championship leader and now race leader, once again back into the first place position that he has worked really hard for this season. And if he does take it today, it will be a huge congratulations. But we are not even halfway through this race, Sam, so you know what, there's a lot more to play for. Maybe we can see something, because Quark is not too far behind Gus at the moment, only 1.6 seconds. He can see the Alfa Romeo car in between these lapped cars at the moment, so hopefully they can get out of the way for him very soon, and then we can see a nice fight for the lead.
Well, yeah, and I think really for Aaron JS, this has been a really shambolic day, hasn't it? Of course he's made 2 stops, of course he's got no more left to go. However, really, he does not want to be this far off the leaders. He's 31 seconds off. In retrospective, Nicky's done 1 stop and really has only dropped like 22 seconds. So really, he's not actually that far ahead of Nicky, is he? So Aaron JS, not really the race of dreams. Of course, all these guys ahead of him had to pit again. He'll probably make up a position or 2, but he may not even be getting a podium here tonight.
Yeah, and that will be a really sour way to end this championship. Of course, if it were to stay like this, Gus will win the championship. If he finishes in the top 8, he would automatically ahead of Aaron no matter where Aaron finishes. But being far down the order and being quite a ways off of Gus is not how you want to end your fight, because he's been fighting really hard all season, but he Unfortunately, it's just the strategy that's really got to him this race. He is still putting in some decent enough laps, and he is slowly gaining on Gus. So maybe if a safety car comes in later, we could see a fight between those two. At least one last breath for Aaron, at least in his hunt, until it is unfortunately put to rest by Gus, who has done so well this season.
Yeah, well, Corky slowly goes in, but he's not getting too close to Gus. And I do agree, he has done absolutely superb this season, Gus. And, well, it should have been 6 out of 7 last week, but he's looking for 6 out of 8 this week anyway. But it's an insanely good championship, and not going to lie, I tell you something now, this is very good for the Alfa Romeo team. If they want to win the Constructors, that is. The only two that are close are actually the Racing Points, which I said could be in a little bit of a battle for 3rd place and maybe 2nd place, but they'll be enjoying it right now because despite Nicky, Astronauty is out of the points, and well, he's far out of the points a little bit, closing in on Alex Lilliart, but the Racing Points would be enjoying this, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they've definitely had quite a good race. Do not mind the voice crack, it happens to everyone. But both Racing Point cars do have to make another pit stop. Astronauty doesn't. Granted, he is quite far off of these Racing Point cars, so I don't expect him to be fighting them. But good points for the Racing Point team. If they do finish indeed in 5th and 7th position, they could be taking a nice, decent amount of points back home to Silverstone, where the Racing Point team is located. I almost lost my train of thought there. Of course, soon to be Aston Martin, so we could see those two in the Aston Martin car next season as well.
Yeah, and who knows where Wide Load Billy and the ends will be. Wide Load Billy obviously has just come in, but he did show he could be a quick driver. Billy has, and well, this season I reckon he will get a podium somewhere along the line. Still waiting. However, Astronauty now really threatening to Alex Lilliart just behind. Is he going to go for a move? It's a big send from the Finnish driver. Oh, well, that's a brilliant move. However, he's gone very slow on the exit. Has that caused damage for Alex Lilliart? He's hit the back of Astronauty. Has he got damage there? I don't think he has. And, well, Astronauty, that was a really, really dangerous move, but he got it covered, and I tell you what, it was clean.
Yeah, he managed to get by, and it was quite an impressive overtake. Not a place where you'd normally send it up the inside, but Astronauty found a way, and he managed to get P10. Every little helps in the Constructors' fight, and even if it is only 1 point, that could be the difference between him and between the Ferrari and the Racing Point team at the end of the season. So yeah, it was just a move that had to be made. Of course, he doesn't have to pit, so he will not make up any positions once everyone else pits, because he's way off of ends and all the top 5 who need to come in for the 2nd time. And also Indecisive needs to pit again, I've just noticed, so hopefully he doesn't forget about that, like Cloudy Balloons did in Belgium. Sorry, not Cloudy Balloons, Quark VLR, he forgot about that in Belgium, but I'm sure it's a race he'd want to forget, because he's doing a really good job today. In 2nd position, he's lost quite a bit to Gus, and but he's got a nice, comfortable gap back to Bruma, and so if he can keep it clean, keep his nose out of any issues, then he could be on for a really, really great performance and climb his way back up the championship standings, where I think he does belong.
Well, yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on right now. There's not much battles at all. Any battles going on right now from your end? That don't seem like it, does it?
I'm not seeing anything, and I guess that it really is just the nature of wet races. That does tend to happen quite often, where drivers, they make mistakes and then it all ends up being really, really spaced out, and that is just how wet races tend to go. So whilst it's not been the most exciting race in the world, it was kind of to be expected with a bit of rain, but maybe if we could see some dry running later on in the Grand Prix, then definitely it could throw some flavour into the mix.
Oh, well, we hope. Definitely hope right now. Also, the pit stops could be interesting. Looking at the stops made, only Aaron JS has made 2 stops. That is in somewhat contention for a podium, unless you want to call Truth in there as well. But Truth is miles off the miles off the leaders anyway. A safety car would be very interesting. Well, kind of. It would be interesting if it came out for, say, the top 2 or 3 have crossed the line and then Nikki came in. If Nikki came in and the top 3 have gone past the pit lane, well, I think we'll have a little bit of an interesting one on our hands.
Yeah, and then they'd all get caught up behind the safety car, and Nicky would be on fresh tyres, and we'll be able to track them down right to the end, and we can have a brilliant fight. Unfortunately, that does seem a little bit unlikely and very situational, so I guess we just got to deal with what we've got. But yeah, no battles on track at all at the moment, so I'm really kind of lost. We've just seen Enz come into the pits to make his second pit stop. Can he go to the end on those intermediate tyres, I wonder? He's got a number of laps left to go, quite a bit actually, so I do wonder if he will struggle to get to the end.
They should get to the end, I reckon, the intermediates. It's an easy one stop on the wet tyres, and on the intermediates it's probably the same thing. Obviously in one up though we had to make a mandatory 2 stop, making it probably obvious for the tyres to go to the end, unless you really screw up the strategy, of course, but you know, some people do that, some people don't. Enz has come out, he's come out nowhere near anyone. That's great. And oh, who is that in the wall? Is that a Salty Bear? He's crashed it again, and well, he's fallen far behind, and he's actually lost out to the AI car of Lightspeed there, who's moved up to 12th. But interestingly, no battles though on the track again. Nikki though is on fire right now, setting good lap time after good lap time. Still needs to pit again though, Nikki, but, well, the rain seems to be calming down a lot since the start. I doubt it, but do you reckon perhaps we could be looking for the softs right at the end?
You know what? I think these drivers might try for it, try go as long as they can. But what I'd recommend they do is give themselves a threshold. If it's not dry enough for the slick tyres, I come into the pits and box for the intermediates, even if it's on the last lap, just because, sorry, not the last lap, like the second to last lap where it gets dry. It really is just not worth it to risk not pitting and then you accidentally go over the limit and it doesn't work out in that case. But about a Salty Bear, I was actually about to report, like, we might have a battle on track at the moment, and then unfortunately he spun the car and he did keep it out of the wall, but then again, that is just, he's seemingly doing that quite often this season, as Salty Bear is. He's just really struggling to get the car beneath him and take it by the reins and really control it, because he's had a lot of thrills and spills this season. Of course, he did join a bit late, but he's certainly not been out of the wars in this inaugural Prospect season. Hopefully, if he does return to us next season, he can pick it up, because he's definitely got pace to do so.
Yeah, like he said, his qualifying hasn't been too bad at all, has it? I believe he qualified like 4th, didn't he, tonight? So, really, I don't really know what's going on with the Salty Bear. He qualified quite high, and, well, he's out of the points again. He's only got 9 points this season. However, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think his season has been completely... I don't think the whole story has been completely told this season, because he is capable of more than 9 points, even in one race. In qualifying, he's finished 4th before, and in that qualifying session, 4th place is 12 points. So if points were given through qualifying and not through the race, he would have 12 points in that alone. It's just a race. He seems to be very dangerous and maybe make a lot of mistakes, and, well, it ends up him out of the points and, well, not getting anywhere.
Yeah, it's just a case of his consistency. Over one lap, he can really nail it and be one of the quickest guys on the circuit. But then, when he gets into the race situation, it might be the pressure that gets to him, and he just ends up making little mistakes that can completely unravel his race, and then it probably gets a bit frustrating for him, and then that just doesn't translate well, and it eventually leads to him making more and more mistakes. But as we can see by the timing screen, he is catching up to Alex Lilliart, so it really is a case of him having the pace, and there it is. Quark VLR is going to be the first of the leaders to come into the pit to make their second pit stop. Broom is going to follow right in behind, no speeding penalties, which is good to see from them.
Well, yeah, and Gus in the lead now by 11 seconds over Nicky. Interestingly, Nicky setting fastest lap after fastest lap. I mean, oh, and you say that, he's almost lost a car
Yeah.
there.
Ooh.
Whew. Well, interestingly, it'll be interesting to see the pace of Cork. Cork at the moment, I believe, is only around 1.5 seconds off Gus when he came in. So now it is basically a charge for him. He's lost out quite a bit of time there. 25 seconds now, so he lost around 23 seconds in the pit lane. Let's just see how that goes down here. Does the time go down, or does it go up? Well, it looks like it's going down, but it seems to be a bit inconsistent at this current moment. So Gus leading the race, Nicky in second, Cork third, Billy in fourth. However, Billy needs to pit again. Aaron JS in 6th place. I forgot Broomer, he's in 5th. Those two are very close, in fact. So this could be an interesting battle.
Yeah, of course, this is for position. Billy needs to pit again for the second time, and he's probably just going to let Broomer sail by. He's not going to fight it too hard. Maybe he could do the same for Aaron, and then we could see a fight for those two. And there it is, the leader of the Grand Prix, Gus Fring, going to come into the pits for the second time. He has remembered the rule, which is very nice to see, but the rain is definitely getting lighter. But with we're coming up to 10 laps to go, I don't think that it's going to be dry enough towards the end for the slicks, unless it's like the last 2 or 3 laps, but at that point it's just not worth it coming in and taking off the intermediates. You might as well just go to the end.
Well, yeah, let's see how this comes out then. Where is Cork? Where is Gus? Gus has come out ahead of him. There he is through the first corner and the second corner. Has Cork lost time or has he gained time? Well, I don't think it's neither, really. He's basically in the same position he was before. That was rather underwhelming, weren't it? Now, as we know, Nicky has been very quick, and, well, he will definitely not be in the fight for the win. He'll come out, I reckon, where Aaron JS is. We could be seeing something interesting from Nicky tonight. He's shown really, really good pace in this race, and I tell you something, what, Daniel, like, I feel really bad. If he had done qualifying, do you reckon Nicky could have potentially absolutely stormed this race?
Oh yeah, we could have definitely seen him at the front. He's been so consistent this race, and whenever I've gone on board with him, it's almost been mesmerising to see how he hits every single apex. He's pretty much had a race of no mistakes. I'm just going to touch wood quickly. He doesn't make any more of those mistakes, and sorry, not more of those mistakes, but doesn't make any mistakes, and then brings it right to the end and can have a good performance. But it's just about him coming to the pits now, and we'll see where he comes out in translation to Aaron JS and Broomer, who are really the guys who he's been fighting. But then again, he's not going to come into the pits. He just feels he has the pace, I think.
But yeah, Aaron JS still out. He doesn't have to pit again. You say he still has the pace. Well, I tell you what, yes he does. A 34.3, setting the fastest lap of this race. I have a funny feeling Gus is about to beat that on the next lap. We will see, obviously, of course, but, well, I mean, Cork's losing time, but the battle at the moment, oh, yep, there we go, Broomer, 34.1, so times are definitely going down. That must be the track just being more optimised towards the intermediates. Aaron GS is getting close to Wilo Billy, you know, but he's just not getting close enough.
Yeah, and that's just allowed for Broomer to completely storch away with this one. Both of them on an 11-lap old intermediate, so they're not going to be at the same pace as Broomer. But once Nicky comes into the bits and comes out around the same place as Aaron JS, we're really going to see a difference in pace just based on the tyres alone. So Aaron JS in a bit of a sticky situation here, might not improve too much from 5th position once Billy comes in, because Billy has to make a pit stop and he probably won't be close enough to make a move on Aaron towards the end of the Grand Prix. So I think best position for Aaron is going to be 5th.
Yeah, well, we have a little battle behind perhaps coming up soon, and that is Ends and Astronauty. We'll keep an eye on this one. It seems to be quite difficult to really say which one is the better battle right now. However, I'm seeing Astronauty close in quite a bit in the last couple of laps, so this could be very interesting. Both have still got to make one more stop, and Nicky into the 33, so times are really going down, but Nicky really needs to start thinking about potentially pitting.
Yeah, we're just going to see Gus completely smash his old time out of the water. He went 1.6 seconds quicker on that lap. So I do think that it is time for Nicky to come into the pit lane and get off those tyres and just try and think about the end of the race and not think about running in the lead for too much longer. He's not improving through the first sector, but he's not too far down, so he's definitely not losing pace. But if he leaves it too late, he's not going to have as much time to actually get a move on and fight with Aaron, who he might have some problems with if he comes up behind him.
Yeah, and Aaron JS looking very close to wide load Billy right now. He just cannot get close enough. And I think it's now starting to become a similar sort of pattern to Astronauty. He's gotten closer to ends, but he just cannot get close enough to get an overtake. But despite that, there's been really no battles on the track. I believe a few have still got to pit, being Nicky, wide load Billy, probably Truth as well. But Aaron JS has pitted twice. He's done his 2 pit stops. All he needs to do now is just continue to focus on the ahead. And well, I'll tell you something now, Billy has held him up so much. 7.5 seconds is lost from Bruma. I believe it was only 4 laps ago when Bruma was with Billy. So Bruma has just gained so much time from that. And you know what? He's still thinking about a certain... that would be a salty bear. We'd be panicking a little bit.
I was honestly... that was a heart-in-mouth moment. I thought that Gus had lost it. And he'd shown us that he is not, in fact, a supreme robot, but he is actually human. And unfortunately, that theory has not been proved as his teammate once again losing it out of that corner. Gus, that really was scary. I actually thought that he had spun, and that could have blown the championship wide open if he finished outside the top 10. Then again, I do actually say that Aaron has to win in every permutation, so I don't think that's very likely at this point.
Yeah, but it would have been a bit of a really interesting race, wouldn't it, if that was the case. But I don't think Gus really needs to worry too much. Aaron GS is completely out of it at the moment. He's still stuck behind wide load Billy. He's still not getting by him. This is literally crucial at this point. If you're in this situation, you have to make an overtake whenever the door is open. You fail to do that, then you're not going to win anything. And well, this is what Gus has done and what Aaron hasn't done. It's unfortunate because Gus has had insane pace this season. However, Aaron's just... he's been on the pace on occasions, but he's just not been there with the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, that is quite the tale this season. I'm just looking at Nicky. I'm really worried for him. He's getting to the point where it's almost a no turning back situation, and I really hope he is not committing to a one-stop here. I beg of him to not go for a one-stop.
Well, he can't go for a one-stop, he'll get disqualified. I think that's the same for Billy as well. Him and Billy are still yet to pit. They're going very late on this though, aren't they? So, interesting strategies, but... Astronauty getting very close to Ends, just not getting close enough though. Ends looking quite strong in the rain, but he's just... this is very close, and Astronauty may have a little bit of a run on here, trying to go side by side, backs out of it again, and we're coming on to the next straight here, or basically straight here. He's just not got the straight line speed to beat out the racing point. Maybe though, I am a little bit wrong. He looks to the inside. Is he going to go for it? He went for it, but it just didn't work out, and he's lost a little bit more time. So again for Astronauty, he keeps getting closer and closer, but unfortunately for him, he is still not close enough to get by. And it's the same sort of thing for Aaron. He needs to get past wide load Billy immediately, because he's just losing so much time out because of him. And well, he's not done that, and Billy is in 5th place, and Aaron's still stuck in that 6th place position. So Aaron needs to get past Billy, and it just has not worked out for the Mercedes.
Yeah, and he's saving up all of this ERS, and I'm just thinking to myself, why not burn it all? And I think he's just heard me there, because now he's going to look to the inside line for turn number 12, up the inside on the right-hand side of the Racing Point car. They're going side by side through the corner. Oh, there could have been a little bit of contact, but luckily they kept it away from each other. And wide load Billy still defends. What I'm noticing with these moves from both Astronauty and Aaron is that they don't have the full commitment that you really need to go for an overtake. They can't make these half moves or half looks. They just have to send it at one point.
Well, yeah, here we go, the overtake again. Billy's got the overtake on as well. Side by side into turn one. Aaron backs out. So Aaron just not thinking it's there again. He backs out, looks for a better exit. Has not got it. So Aaron JS is going to be stuck behind Wilo Billy for a little bit longer. And, well, there's Stevie Hart going through, just saying hello. This is just not obviously convenient. Seeing a rear spoiler in the way. Astronauty getting very close to ends. Here is maybe the chance for Astronauty. To the inside he goes. Has he got the move done? No, he has not, and almost spins the car again. But ends still keeping the position as similar to Billy. He's still keeping that 8th place. Just hanging on now till the end to get that 4 points. Astronauty getting closer as well, but no one making the moves out of these two. These are two interesting battles, and ironically, it's the defending racing points for both scenarios.
Yeah, and I've just seen Nicky finally comes into the pit lane. That will unleash Gus into the lead, but I might go down to the paddock just after this to check that there's no invisible force field on the Racing Point car, and Aaron's going to prove me wrong there, because now he's going to go up the inside and might have gone a little bit deep into the corner. He's going to go for the switchback move, and now they're side by side through the corner, and somehow the Racing Point defends again.
Well, yeah, look at this. Aaron looking for another escape, but yeah, like you said, just another thing here. Look, he's gone wide there, Wilo Billy. Has the inside. He's decided to opt for the pit. That was very late from Wilo Billy there. Aaron gets released, but I tell you what, the battling's not helped at all. Nicky's into 4th, and well, he's going to be chasing down Broomer, isn't he? 3 laps to go. Well, 4 laps to go. He's 4 seconds behind. He has got the pace, Nicky, but can he just get it?
Well, he's not a million miles off, but he's not got many laps left to do it. So we've just got to see over the next couple of laps. I definitely think we can see a fastest lap coming up from him, but he's already dropped under the 4-second window that he was over before the first sector split. So he's definitely got the pace, and if he could just keep it consistent and be as clean as possible throughout the rest of the race, he could definitely catch up to Broomer and challenge him.
Yeah, an Astronauty there. 7 attempts off. Ends now. He's not closed. He's not gained. And, well, like I said, he's still stuck in 9th place. And, well, Ends has just been really, really good with his battling today. And he's got a 3-second penalty as I say that. The curses roll on, but he still had a really good performance. And, well, if he gets this 8th place, it'll be a really, really good show from the Racing Point driver. Still battling though with 3 laps to go for 8th place here. Astronaut, he needs to get by. He's had a few sniffs at it, but he just has not been able to get it. Nicky is within the 3-second mark. In this lap alone, he's gained over a second. Wow, he is really, really on fire. He is pushing his heart out to get that podium again and to keep up this recent run of success.
Well, if Nicky is not the hot driver of Prospect this week, I do not know who will be, and if he isn't, I'll probably write, because he is absolutely burning up right now. He is white hot, and he can see Broomer getting larger and larger as the corners go by, and he'll start to see the Husky Chocolate sponsor McLaren. I just wanted to throw the sponsor in because I think it's a funny name.
Yeah, Husky Chocolate. Interesting. Have you ever had Husky Chocolate? Do you even know what it even... Is it even chocolate? Like, I know that sounds like an odd question, but... Like,
it could be shampoo or something.
It could be, yeah. Like, you know, it could be anything, couldn't it?
Old Spice isn't a spice.
Technically speaking, not, but... Interesting, isn't it? I don't even know if Husky is chocolate, is it?
We have a race to commentate, Sam. Oh no.
We have a race to commentate. We have a battle going on for 11th place. Side by side through here. A Salty Bear to the outside. And he's made a move up to 11th. Now we know a Salty Bear is not going to get a point again. But I tell you what, that was a really good move from him. But yeah, the debates around Husky Chocolate, we need to calm down a little bit. But Nicky is flying right now. A 32.7, fastest lap of the race. And well, he's getting closer. Look how close he is to the McLaren.
Yeah, he's dropped that that gap down so much over the last couple of laps, and his times weren't even up to full temperature at this point. So I'd expect him to get even quicker as the race goes on. But he is certainly the quickest man out on circuit at the moment, and it really does beg the question: if he were to qualify, how far up would he have been in this race, and could he have taken the win 2 weeks in a row?
Well, that would have been a really interesting one, and I think the Ferraris have kind of redeemed themselves really from the start. Because I said about Ferrari needed a good result if they want to think about third in the championship, and you know what? They are definitely going for that. Well, I said third, it's second in the championship, but if they want to get third place in the championship, that's also very applicable as well, where they currently are. The Racing Points have had a good day, I would say, today, to be honest. End and Wide Load Billy. However, End's still defending against one of the Ferraris, but the Ferrari powerhouse, though it has to be said, that Nicky has just done superbly.
Yeah, absolutely. He kept out of trouble in this race, and now he could be on track for a podium, of course. He's got one lap to make the move stick. Hopefully, no penalties coming out for either of these guys. If you want, I can check it, or I could just leave it as a surprise for both of us.
Oh, let's just leave it. Let's not worry about it. Let's just wait for this all to blow over. Jamie Met goes to the sauce, which is an interesting one. There's still a lot of spray. I'm not sure about that decision. However, look how close Nicky is getting now. We can see the gamer tag of Bruma. He is closed in miles. Is it enough though? This is the final lap, remember. And let's not forget Gus is on this final lap as well, up the road. Well, I guess Cloudy will be happy really out of anyone really. It's because he's going to get another podium perhaps. However, that could obviously be a thing because we don't even know what the penalty situation is. But Nicky closing so closely to Bruma, and well, has he missed the opportunity now? 4 attempts behind. I don't think he's going to get it, is he?
Well, he's just got to get a good run through here and then try for a move, as now he's opening up his overtake. I've just seen Quark getting a penalty, so that could also throw something into the mix if he's racked them up. But right now, I think this is history in the making. In his debut season of One Hub, we've got Gus Fring coming around the last couple of corners. He's going to savour the moment. He's going to go nice and slow through here, as here he is, crossing the line. He is a champion of One Hub.
And yet, there we go. Your driver's champion in Season 16 of the Prospect Tier is Gus Fring, and congratulations to him. A dominating season from the Alfa Romeo, and well, what a classy season it was as well, and maybe controversial. Bruma finishes in second, Nicky keeps up his podium form in third, and well, Cloudy, we've seen him last week in fourth place, or Cork, and well, we see him there again. Aaron JSN, who was the final challenger to Gus, and he has now got no chance of winning this championship this season, comes along in 5th place. Wide Load Billy lost a lot of time. He is going to come home in 6th place, as it looks like. A big gap between him and 7th place. So Wide Load Billy comes across the line, weaving. He's happy. He's got points now this season in One Hub. 5-second penalty for unserved penalty. So he's had quite a few penalties. And well, will True have any penalties? And can he potentially beat Wide Load Billy? There's 20 seconds of penalties actually from Wide Load Billy, but I think he's just about safe from Truth. As Truth does come across the line, then he had a little bit of an issue out of the final corner there. The Truth comes across the line, 7th place, Ends, who's had a pretty decent race, it has to say the least, in 8th. Gazzaman 9th, and Astronaut, he retired. I did not know that. Well, I didn't even see that. Astronaut, he retired from the race. Must have been on the final lap or something. We didn't even notice it. But Gazzaman comes across in 9th, and we're just waiting on Jamie Met now, ready to cross the line. I mean, yeah, here we go, and he spun the car. And, well, that's not helpful, since Mercedes still had to pay a little bit of money for that damaged front wing, and, well, he'll probably be fined in his own right. But driver of the day, and I guess rightfully so, I guess one of us has got to take him. It's Nicky. He's driver of the day here. Should we just call it driver of the day as well? But obviously, we had to pick 2 drivers, which is just not going to be easy, because Nicky has been on fire. But first of all, who is your driver of the day, Daniel? Because I'm going to let you go first.
Right, well, then I'm going to take the obvious option. I'm going to say Nicky this time by because he has done absolutely superbly superbly this
So,
race. Superbly. So well done to Nicky. He actually did manage to get on the podium after Quark got all of those penalties in. So my question to him is, what was happening with your internet earlier? And if you were able to qualify, do you think you would have been able to get up the front and win this race? So that is my question to Nicky.
Well, yeah, and my driver of the day, rather boring one, of course. It's the man who started on pole. It's the man who's won the race. It's the man who's won the championship. It's Gus Fring, and he is my driver of the day. And the question for him is, well, after a first few rounds, maybe round 3, round 4 type of thing, did you think it wasn't even in question that you were going to win the championship? So that is my question to the Swiss driver and the champion of One Hub Prospect Tier. A few facts that we've got now from the task system, which is an interesting one. It's Gus's 6th victory of the season. He could get 8 out of 10. It's his 8th podium out of 8 races. So could he get 100% in that? Who knows? It's Bruma's 2nd and it's Nicky's 3rd. It is the best result for Bruma in 2nd place. And this is also Wildlow Billy's best result, of course. The worst result, it goes to Jamie Met and Kingen, who both had their worst positions of the season. So with that, Daniel, we have nothing left really to say, except for we'll see you next week, where we will return for some more One Hub action. We're at a similar place to Australia, well, not in terms of the track, but in terms of the language, we all speak it. It's English. It's the British Grand Prix. We are at Silverstone for round 9 next week on October the 16th. Do not miss it. From me and Daniel, though, we will be exiting this one out, and we say good night. And obviously, of course, congratulations to our newly crowned champion, Gus Fring.